All right, everybody, welcome to Coffee for Closers. Yet another episode for you here. We are, almost halfway through August.
Yeah.
My gosh.
Time flies.
I was just talking with my wife, and we've got our youngest just starting into school. Like I said, she's super excited today. She's 2, about to be 3. And she is, she was just ecstatic about school today, just ecstatic. But I was just shocked that it's like, oh my gosh, as I was going through, I thought maybe this is just a young kids. This is when they're starting school right now in August. And then, no, I'm going to drop her off. No, every school along the way just slammed with traffic. All the schools started back today. It's just wild. And in Florida, I don't know why. I mean, I guess up north, they don't do that as much. I think they start a little later.
Yeah, my nephew started today, so
yeah,
everybody's starting.
At least in Florida, whatever. Either way, today we plan to talk a tiny bit about the world of commissions. I mean, this is kind of like one of those topics where I feel like, oh, should we talk about it? Should we not talk about it? But I do think it is, after some consideration, it's something that came up a couple times today or this past week. I had a few guys calling in talking about trail commissions and upfront commissions, what's better, what's not, what should we be doing? And it was interesting because me and Sean, one of my colleagues, one of our up-and-coming rising stars here at Megastar, was the same exact response as mine, exactly the same. So I got posed the question, what's better, Al? What do you think of trail or upfront commission on, I guess it could be life insurance, but primarily like, say, annuity commissions.
Yeah.
When offered. So it's more like your 10-year products, 7-year products, stuff like that. Your multi-year guaranteed annuities is going to be upfront. And so my immediate response, and so was Sean's, was, what part of their career are they in? Like, where are they in life?
Okay.
And my whole point of that was, look, if you're in the growth stage of your business, if you're just trying to grow your business or you're trying to take it to the next level, and that comes early in your career, comes middle of your career, comes even end of your career as you're trying to maybe pass it on to the next generation, there'll be periods where you're trying to grow your business, and in those periods, upfront commissions make all the sense in the world.
Yeah.
It's like, so what are we generally taking? It's like, okay, generally you might find yourself around a 1% commission trail for each year of the policy. So if it's a 10-year product, if you take the trail, you might be getting somewhere around 10%. These are averages, so just keep that in mind. Everybody, don't blow us up in the comments or messages saying, oh, no, I make more. No, I make less. It's too much, too low. Whatever. You might be getting 1% a year in a trail. Up front, you might be getting somewhere closer to 6 or 7.
Yeah, okay.
Right? And so you're giving up 3% to take it early, but you get that influx of cash. And so if you're early in your business, this is the cash you need to reinvest back in your business, back in your staff, back in your marketing efforts to get more sales. And so, yeah, maybe I'm giving up myself somewhere around 3% for taking it early. But what I'm doing is I'm expediting the compounding nature of the marketing efforts, right? So I take some money that now I have up front. If, say, I only need to live on 1%, then I have 6 extra percent sitting here now that I can go ahead and reinvest into marketing, hopefully getting myself into more closed deals. So closing more deals early in my career.
Yeah.
And what do those closed deals generally create? They create clients that are going to be around for a while, that generally, I hope, like what I did for them, and are going to, give me referrals, right? It's not to say that I won't get a referral if I take a trail. You will, but you won't have the ability to invest back into your business and get the additional units, because then what happens? They refer business years 3, 2, 3, 4 of being your client, whenever the relationship gets deep enough. And then they end up going, and those referrals then talk good about you, and you start to build this really rich referral network if you're doing good job at your job, obviously, and you've done a good job with nurture systems and keeping your clients informed and doing annual reviews and such. But also, too, seeing more clients quickly. and reinvesting potentially back into staff. I mean, it could be anything, computers, artificial intelligence. We talked about that the other day. All of these places where you can invest that capital. Campaigns that help your business grow quicker. And then you allow the same kind of thing that you're preaching to your clients, the power of compound interest, You're allowing the compounding nature of those investments build your company quicker, bringing more and more commissions in, again, taking them up front, allowing you to reinvest in them. And so again, $1 today is worth more than $1 tomorrow, even when it's potentially giving up 3%. And here's the other reason. Okay, we're in a weird environment right now where there are so many incredible products out right now that weren't out 5-6 years ago. And so I've got plenty of clients. I know we've got a ton of other clients out there that are sitting in investments that we put in 5-10 years ago that are in a different situation now, or they're looking for better growth. The growth that they're getting is subpar to what's available right now, and it makes a very good logical reason for them to look at some of the newer products, and if it makes sense, potentially changing products and going with a new product.
I think I see where you're going with this.
But not churning, not churning. You got to be careful. Like, there's treading the line. You don't want to be churning something. But if there's a clear reason and suitability, it makes sense suitability-wise. And we're not going to make a habit of doing this. But if I see that my client could double, triple, quadruple the interest that they were earning on some of the old products from 5-10 years ago, you can replace it. And I take another upfront commission on that, and now I'm somewhere in that 14%. It's like, okay, well, I didn't give up anything there. I gained the opportunity. If I'm taking a trail option, I'm walking away from, potentially, if it's like, let's say year 6, year 7, I've only gotten the 7%, and now I'm going back and going to start that trail again.
So you're losing out on essentially
potentially
3%.
I'm losing out on the reason I took the trail in the first place. I lost on. It's like I still made the 7% if I waited till year 7, right? So if I took a trail at 1% a year for each year, and I wait till 7, in 7 years, it starts to make sense from the surrender charge and potentially what I might get back from the new product that I might place them in. I've gotten the same 7% that the other guy, let's say the upfront guy took. He took a 7% upfront commission. I took a 1-year trail for 7 years. We both got 7%, but what did I give up? The ability to invest in my business. That day right back then, I had to struggle hem and haw, and my business hasn't grown as fast to be able to do that. Now, there are periods in time, though. I mean, that makes sense, right? Like, we don't need to
that makes
expand
total
on that
sense.
too much. But let's think about. Okay, so let's think about the other side of it. There are periods of time where, if I've grown my business and let's say it's just not the right time for me to be continuing to grow, we've grown, let's say I've had 5 years of extraordinary growth and we're doing incredible amounts of production, and I've got a bunch of clients in and the business is running, and I'm in a period of my life, maybe my kids, are that perfect age where we're just traveling a lot, and potentially I don't have the time to put into my business to capitalize on the new marketing efforts. If I'm going to be in a place where I've got enough income to sustain where I'm at and I'm comfortable where I'm at, then trails do start to make sense, right? Maybe not because of and maybe we're not in a place where products are looking to get better and better and better over time, and I'm not walking away from commissions. It's nice to have that reoccurring revenue to help offset some of my salaried employees that I may have hired, to make sure I'm covering those costs annually, office space, rent, some of my fixed stuff, the same things that we preach to our clients about the abilities to have consistent paychecks. If you've built your company to a place where you've got enough revenue, you've got so much cash on hand because you took an upfront option on things, that potentially it starts to make sense for you to start streamlining some income in a trail format that has consistent income rolling in. Now, if you're a securities-minded person, then you've always kind of got that consistent flow of income because you're managing money at a 1% per year. You don't have that upfront option. But for our annuity, our insurance guys only, those folks, and even if you are brokerage, maybe you have an inclination to take it in a trail, but whatever. you potentially do have periods where the trail starts to make a whole lot of sense to start covering those fixed expenses. But then the second I start to get to a place where I've covered those fixed expenses with the trail options, I'm going to get right back to taking the upfront option. Or when I want to grow to the next level, maybe I take on a new agent or a new downline or a new hire that's looking for more leads. I start to take more upfront options to start paying for their needs, their marketing needs, to build them up the way I got built up.
Pretty much using it to pay salaries, essentially.
Yeah, the trails are there to pay salaries, but the second I have the need to grow the business, I need the upfront cash. More cash on hand is better, right? More capital on hand to make investments at the right time, the better. If I potentially have gotten so much cash on hand, potentially it makes sense to own the building that I am having my office in rather than renting a space. Yeah. A lot of people don't realize that. It's like, well, now I own the whole strip mall and this whole place is mine, and now I don't have that fixed. So the cash helped me do that. Right? Yeah, I have renters that rent out some of the space for me, but this plaza where I have my building, or maybe I have a standalone building, is an appreciating asset now. As long as you're in tune with the real estate market and Class A, spots and so on and so forth. But so all of that starts to make more sense with the having cash on hand. And yeah, I think a lot of folks that are maybe a little more cautious about business, they start to go down this path of I need trails because it's going to be more consistent and I'll just build slowly. And I warn against that because I find this business in my short time in it to be a battle of attrition. Can you be here? Do you have the ability to invest? Do you have the ability to fail? And it's built on failure. You have to fail and try again and try again and try again until you figure out what works for you. And cash is king when it comes to that scenario. You've got to have the cash on hand to fund that experiment. And for you to find a marketing system that works, for you to find a CRM that works, to find a vision for your brand, potentially branding strategies that work, you've got to invest cash, and you got to be okay with you got to be kind of reckless in the way, not reckless in your research, of course. But,
yeah, obviously. But
willing to take that risk. And if you're just like, hem and hawing it one paycheck to the next, then you're in a place where potentially you can't make those investments and you lose the ability to find that perfect thing for your business. It's been a detriment to too many, and they end up earlier in their career by not taking upfront options, walking away. Now, there are some companies like American Equity that's made it very popular with their, I think it's called Option A, which is a heap with a 2-year trail. And so it's like, instead of getting 7 up front, you might get 6 1-in-1.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right, so you get a 2-year trail, but you get a nice heap up front. And that's a nice middle ground. In fact, I think a few carriers do that. I know American Equity's made it very popular. But it is one of those things where it's like, okay, well, I can get an extra percent than I would. There's no replacement that's really going to happen in the first 2 years or so. I'm not walking away from some potential commission down the road. I'm going to get my full commission here as long as it survives that, free look period. And then from there, I've got, yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to process, I just don't see a huge downside to it. At least I've got some consistent income if, say, a whole year goes bunk. Interest rates fall for a year.
Yeah.
The products go crap, and I can't compete with the market. Let's say the market's soaring, interest rates are down, annuities are kind of meh, although they've proven to be pretty market proof. And I'm an annuity only guy, let's say. Then potentially I've got some income coming in still for 2 years to survive that lull when I take that kind of mini trail option where I've got a heap with a small trail going on. And that maybe deserves a little more thought. But then too, guys that are like, I see a lot of guys at the end of their career, they take another load of these heaps. They might have gone to trails for like 5 years. They started their career taking nothing but upfront options. Then they went to trails for a little while, and now they're back taking upfront options because they're trying to get their kid into the business, and they need to invest again, like we were saying before, into that kid's future and get them their own lane to be successful in, or their own trainings and such. And maybe that kid needs some cash to buy a house and get on the right foot and, do all those things to set them up right with a great future. So, anyway, but I guess there was a good question that was brought up,
Yeah.
and I feel like it doesn't get talked enough about. It's like, oh, we don't want to talk about commissions.
Yeah, everyone seems to shy away from talking about commissions a lot.
I just feel like that's a silly thing to do. You can't feel like commissions are this dirty word.
Yeah.
Because it's like everybody in financial business is charging a fee. Every single person, there's a fee associated with it. With the annuity world, they're taking the fee. The insurance carrier is building in my compensation. So I will take care of you for the next 10 years. They're making sure that if you buy their product, that they've made sure that you're paying an advisor to help you for the next 10 years. I'm going to be here for the next 10 years, or at least the length of the contract. They're going to pay me a fair wage. They're going to cover my fees for me to help you for the next 10 years. That's how we've said it to clients for the entire time. Whether I take that up front or as a trail is up to me. Right? But either way, they're paying me a sum to take care of you for the length of the contract. And no client I've ever had, has any problem with that. And quite frankly, it's a lot less than what most AUM folks would charge. On the managed side, you see people charge somewhere around a point to 200 basis points, 100 basis points to 200 basis points. So it's like that person over a 10-year period, if they're charging 2, is charging directly from the client 14%, or I'm sorry, 20%. I'm sorry, I was thinking of a 7-year product. But they're charging 20% for the 2 year or the 10 years of service, 2% a year. On the annuity side, if I take an upfront option, what did I charge you? 70 basis points a year on a 10-year product? And I didn't even charge you. The insurance company built it in. So you don't have to feel it in your pocketbook.
It's not touching their money at all.
Yeah. And so, well, in theory, it kind of is, right? Well, because they're building the actuaries are building this product. They build the commission into it.
That's true.
But still, it's like it's covered.
In the numbers, you don't really see
They can't do that in the market. They can't do that in the market because it's completely liquid, right? They would. Trust me, they would if they could. And you had like locked in features like, hey, you buy into this broker, you buy into our account. We're this is the returns you could expect, and this is going to be 10 years. It's like if they were dealing in the same world, like variable annuities, they charged fees like commissions. They did commissions forever, right? And the commissions were given to the advisor in variable annuities. And so, but that's a variable product that you could easily just charge a fee on. But they charge it, they give the commission to it as a commissionable product. I mean, variable annuities, they're not my favorite thing out there. Rarely do I feel like they make sense.
Yeah.
But in the AUM side, they don't have that kind of locking in feature, so they don't do a commission. But I feel like if there was a way that they could, they probably would switch to a commission space. They would change it to a commission.
More guarantees with that.
Yeah, because people... think about it. Anyway, that's a discussion for another day about the why. But either way, I think it shouldn't be this taboo topic to talk about how a financial advisor collects their fees. There's a reason why we're getting paid to do this. If you value your work, you should have no problem talking about how you get paid or why it's justified, right? I think, and two, another thing, you shouldn't be ashamed about how much you make as a financial advisor on a deal. You shouldn't be ashamed if you get it paid up front or in a trail. The upfront option, say, look, one of the most valuable things for me, at least for our clients, I feel, is that I'm here for you. And if I'm not here to help you in 10 years by the end of this contract, that's a pretty worrying thing, I think, for a lot of folks. And so, yeah, the upfront nature of this does allow me to reinvest in my company and make sure that we have all the things we need to survive. And, that's a very logical reason that I think any person out there would respect. And again, it comes down to you seeing value in what you do for your clients and the knowledge you possess and the things you've studied, and then you'll have all that confidence in the world. That's what I've seen the best producers out there do, is they have no fear about talking about the fees that they collect, and brokerage guys, fee only guys, they do that. They have to talk about it.
Yeah.
And again, too,
They're
they're collecting way more than you too. They're collecting way more.
What do you normally see on average advisors taking upfront, would you say? Or trails?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about that kind of before we came on. I feel like this isn't even a debate for most advisors. I just thought it was odd that we had so many conversations in the last couple of weeks where people were considering taking trails.
Do you ever think that?
And I do think maybe it has something to do with so many advisors right now because of the high interest rate environment. With everything going on with interest rates, these products look so good. They're writing more business than they ever have. And they're like, man, I'm just so flush with cash. Do I really need to keep taking the upfront option or should I switch? And it's like, well,
I see.
Times aren't so good always, man. Have the cash on hand. Don't spend it. Keep the coffers full. Find the right time to invest it back into your business.
I see.
Because you take it too early. But I don't think most advisors are having this internal debate. Man, should I take a trail or not?
Except for the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, but it's like a handful of them, So I don't know. All good stuff, man. Hopefully that's an interesting enough conversation for folks. But I thought it needed to be done in some way, somehow on the show. And so if you like the show, if you like what we're talking about here, please don't. It helps so much if you like the post or like the episode. Go give it a thumbs up if you like it. Give us a subscribe if you like the content we've been putting out there. We are always here pumping out more content each and every week. And hopefully, and again, we love the comments, good or bad. We'd love to hear it. We'll see you next time right here at Coffee for Closers. Take care.